Hey guys, it's TJ at Code Mortar with another Sabbatical vlog update. Today we're going to be going over a 3D puzzle ball game. So this is my first actual 3D experience. There's some neat things like camera control with the mouse, lots of physics and math things that were giving me a bit of a hard time kind of comprehending. So what we'll do is we'll hop onto the MacBook. I'll give you a quick walk through the game, some of the levels in the game, and I'll show you some of the code that was kind of hard to follow along with. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a quick run through of a couple of levels in the game. First thing I want to kind of show off is the camera controls. So this is all being controlled with the mouse, moving left to right, moving up and down. The other thing that's neat is the perspective movement. So I'm pressing the up key right now, and you can see me rolling forward, and the down key to roll backward. And now I'll rotate about 90 degrees. And now when I press, I'm still pressing the up key, but you can see to the plane I'm moving in a different direction. Although from my perspective, I'm still moving forward, which is natural for the player. So we'll get this straight, and I can actually, I can click, and it will snap it to the nearest 90-degree rotation. So I'm going to roll up to level 1. So take me to level 1, adjust my perspective here. And I'm going to roll down the hill. I don't know if you can hear it in the recording, but there are sound effects. So there was a little sound effect there to change my size. And you can also see that I'm now moving a lot quicker too, because I'm smaller. My mass is less now, so I can move quicker. I'll change perspective again here and try and get lined up with this pipe. Again, very bad at video games myself. I'll get started in the pipe, and you can kind of see, and I'll just get an overhead view so you can see that there is that transparency going on. And we have another pickup that will make us large, and now that we have this large size, we can roll over this block. I'll try and get a better angle. So there's this obstacle. So obviously, as the small ball, we wouldn't be able to roll over that. Now we have this teleport, which will take us back to the beginning. And now that we are the large ball, we can roll over this block as well, and we can make it to the exit. And then we're back to our main menu. So I'll just take a quick rip through level 2 as well. Going to adjust my perspective here. Some of the same things you'll see, there's this red in the bottom right corner, there's this red block that's blocking a blue switch, and if you see back in the distance, there's also a blue block, and that is actually blocking the exit. So, got a couple of neat little things in here. You know, on the regular size ball, I can't get over that. I can't get over that block, and I'm also too big to go through this pipe. So I will roll over the small switch, which will make me small. I like to roll, apparently I like to roll slowly at the end of the pipe and just fall to the ground. So now we've used that as kind of a jump to get over the over that block. Now we'll run over that switch, you'll see that it's turned black, and you'll see now that we're also large. Now when I roll back over this area, I've made myself small again, but you can see that because I ran over that red switch, I've now removed that red block, or that red wall, so I can come back here, become medium again. I can hit the, maybe I can hit the blue switch, and I'll have to become small again, because I will once again need to go through the pipe. And now that I'm through the pipe, I'll change perspective here. The exit is not obstructed. So that's it for gameplay. I'll let you guys explore and experiment with it on your own. Levels 5 and 6 are really hard. I can't do them. I'm just going to jump over and show you a couple of code things. All right, guys, the other thing I wanted to show was a bit of the code, specifically this set sound volume on collision. So what this is doing is it's setting the volume of the sound that plays when a ball collides with a wall based on how hard the ball has hit the wall. And I'm really hoping that later in this course I'm going to find that there's an existing method or function or library or something for this, because as you can see just by looking at the code on screen now, there's a lot of math number things going on that aren't really very well explained. So I'm going to try to explain it. I don't fully understand it, but I'm going to walk through what is here and how I understand it. So when a collision happens, we call this function, it gets past the collision. So a collision is an object, contains information about one game object hitting another game object. So it has a collision object. That collision object has contacts. Typically there's only one, at least that's what I've seen from when one object is colliding with another. So we get the normalized points for that contact. Then what we're doing here is we're absoluting each of those points on the X, Y, and Z axes. So if it's a negative number, it becomes positive, because the negative is just indicating directionality. We don't care if it was from the left or from the right. We just want to know how hard it hit. So from here, we're figuring out an angle. So what we have here is vector 3 is something that shows up a lot in Unity, especially in the 3D side. So a vector 3 is it's really a collection of three numbers, the X, Y, and Z. So the vector 3 class also has some helper methods. So in this case, we're using the angle method, which is calculating the angle between two other vector 3 points. So we have vector3.right, which is another helper method, which basically says the X is 0, the Y is 0, and the Z is 1. And then we're creating an angle from that to whatever this collision point was. So what we're doing here is we're figuring out the angle that came in on. Then what we're doing is a bunch of math that hasn't really been explained to me very well. But the instructors basically said this is, from doing some Googling and, just some trial and error with the numbers that he's found works best, but it hasn't really been explained to me properly, and this is the part I'm really having trouble fully comprehending. But take 1 divided by 8100, multiply it by the angle that we just calculated squared, and then we're adding -1 divided by 45, and then we're adding 1. Like, some of these things could be normalized and simplified. Just do the 1 divided by 8100. The fact that they're left expanded like this makes me think that 8100 actually means something that I could interpret and understand, but the explanation just hasn't been given. So we do that for all three axes. We get a factor for each one. Then what happens is we're setting the volume to a value, and this value is these three numbers added together. So each of these numbers is the velocity from the previous frame multiplied by this factor that we just did a bunch of weird math to figure out, multiplied by 0.001. So as I understand, 0.001 is just to normalize it down to, because our volume scale is from 0 to 1. So I'm guessing that this would normally give us a number between 0 and 1,000. So we want to bring that down. Finally, this piece at the end is what I added to get rid of the noise, because what was happening without this, as the ball would roll along the wall, every time the ball moves, it's constantly colliding with the wall. So you can see down here on this on collision enter, we're actually playing the wall hit sound. So this play one shot will play the sound. So this is triggering all of the time if a ball is rolling along a wall. So what we're doing is, or what I'm doing, because this wasn't part of the course, but I was filtering out anything below 0.02, just because that was how low the volume was coming out when the ball was rolling along the wall, because it is hitting the wall, but with very, very low velocity, almost no velocity. I've done that just to kind of get rid of that machine gun effect, keep it from playing that sound constantly if you're rolling along a wall. Well, that's it for today, guys, but the week is young, so I should be back by Friday with another update, and this one will be involving some boss battles, some melee fighting style stuff, so it should be a pretty cool update. Until then, Star Wipe? Star Wipe? There it is.